You got your mama's sunshine, you got your daddy's rain. You're like a piece of heaven in a hurricane, and it's bubbling over like sweet champagne. You got your mama's sunshine, you got your daddy's rain. All day long, right or wrong, you question everything. Why the grass is green, can I stay up late, and why do the bluebirds sing? Sometimes you cry your big blue eyes for no discernible reason. Your point of view, it comes and goes
like that strange clown. Can't you leave me alone?
Hello everybody, welcome to what is going to be a mini-series called Barbell and Books. This is the first vlog and the concept of this mini-series is basically going to be me talking about what I'm doing in the gym as well as what I've been reading throughout the week. So it is Monday today, I've just got to the gym and on my way to the gym I have been listening to Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, which is the book that my fiance Lois got me as part of our April book swap. So I am reading this as well as listening to it and it's a very interesting book so far. The premise of it is two young people meet in a hospital, one of which has had a traumatic injury following a car crash, the other one who is there visiting their dying sister, and they form a bond via the means of gaming. So they're both really into gaming, and this kind of develops into a friendship later in life, so much so that they then start creating games together. So it kind of explores their relationship as they grow up together, having that mutual passion for gaming. So it's very different to things that I've read before. It doesn't really seem to be like a romantic love interest. The relationship dynamics is really interesting because both characters are fairly problematic characters in themselves, which makes for quite interesting listening and reading. But I'm about 50% of the way through, and that's kind of where we got to at the moment. So they've been very successful with their gaming because they've created a game together, and they're kind of working through the business side of that and the different dynamics because they seem to really like each other, but not romantically. So each partner is getting other partners and things like that. So it's interesting how they kind of react to that with each other. And that's where we're at the moment. So yeah, really interesting book to listen to and to read. In the gym today, I'm going to be doing some bench press and I'm working up to a relatively heavy singles. So yeah, I might actually listen to a little bit of the audiobook in the gym because yeah, I like to listen to audiobooks while I actually train as well. So I'll probably do that. So let's go and hit some bench. So just to say before I head into the gym, I am very much a mood reader. So I like to have 3, 4, sometimes 5 books on the go at one time, because if I'm not really connecting with a book at the time, then I can switch to something which I'm more in the mood for. So I've just started a new book this week and it is really, really good. So I'm yeah, looking forward to talking about that a little bit later on in the video. Yesterday, I wasn't joking, because I've currently got 6 books on the go. So I thought I'd very quickly take you through what I am currently reading. Obviously, you know about Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, because I spoke about that yesterday. Another book that I'm reading is Shift by Hugh Howey, and I'm only at the very start of this, but this is the second book in the Silo trilogy. So any of you that have read the Silo trilogy and know the first book, I won't give any spoilers, but this is set before the first book, so it's kind of a prequel to everything that goes down in that. So it's very interesting so far, but yeah, very sort of dystopian, very sort of sci-fi based, so very good at the moment. So another book that I'm reading is A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. This is a very short book, but a very challenging read just because of the language within it. I know somebody else that has read this, and they recommended me printing off a glossary for all the translated words, because there is a lot of words in here which is just, I think it's like a derivative of Russian language, but yeah, it's a lot of just made up words as well, which you need to like put together to understand what is being said. So I'll just give you an example of a line, and there'll be enough within this to sort of give you an example. So the Chelovek, whatever that is, sitting next to me, there being this long big plushy seat that ran round 3 walls, was well away with his glasses glazed and sort of blurbering Slovos like, Aristotle wishy-washy works out in Clayman, get forticular smartish. So if you can get around the complex language, this is actually a pretty good read. The next book is The Last Argument of the Kings. This is the last book in the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. I've only just started this one, but I'm intrigued to finish off the trilogy because the first 2 books are incredible. So the next book that I read, you would have seen me reading today, and that is Hamnet. And I probably shouldn't have been reading this one in public, because the chapter that I read was actually very sad and got me a little bit choked up. So Hamnet, who is William Shakespeare's son and who the book is based off of, he is basically talking to his twin sister who has got the bubonic plague, basically saying he wants to take her place. So he wants to die instead of her, because she's essentially dying of this plague, and he's just doing everything he can to basically tell the spirits that he wants to be the one to die and not her. And it's just very sort of harrowing to sort of read that, for such a sort of young lad to be so stoic and so brave about confronting death like that, and wanting to do everything he can to save his sister. So yeah, it got me a little bit choked up for some reason. So I've got about another 150 odd pages to read from this book, so I'll probably wrap it up at the end of this week, and I'm very intrigued to see how it ends, because I kind of know a little bit about the story of Hamnet, but not everything, so I'll be really intrigued to see how this one finishes. And the other book that I was mentioning yesterday, which I'm really enjoying at the moment, is Fight Club by Chuck Palahniuk. I actually had a friend message me today saying that he doesn't want to read Fight Club because he's read a couple of other Chuck Palahniuk books and absolutely hated them. So far, I'm not getting the same experience. His writing style is quite interesting because it kind of reads like you're in a dream. And for anyone that's seen the film Fight Club, you'll probably understand why that is. But I quite like his writing style. I mean, The film definitely fluffs it out a little bit more because this book is very short, so there's definitely scenes within this which are very shortened and they are expanded in the film. But as someone who absolutely loves the film, I'm getting a really good experience reading this one, and it is an absolute page turner. And even though I know the twist at the end of it, I'm still reading it sort of feeling excited and wanting to like know what's happening next, if that makes sense. So yeah, absolutely loving this one so far. And those are all the books that I'm currently reading. Alright, welcome to Wednesday. Welcome to another gym day. On the menu today, deadlifts. Alright, that's pretty much deadlifts done. I'm just going to do one final set of 180 for 5, and then today is actually primarily my back day, so I'll do a lot of back movements, and it's my week 3. I'm doing like blocks of 3 at the moment, so on week 3 I'm looking to like either hit PBs or just like push it a little bit harder. So I'll go a little bit harder on the volume on back today before resetting next week. Welcome to Thursday. Not too much to report today, to be honest. It's been a pretty busy day, so I've been working and then I went to go and get my suit fitted for my wedding, which was actually a little bit problematic because we got everything sorted and then realised they didn't actually have the material for my suit in stock. So haven't quite got that sorted yet, but came home, had a Mackey's, and now we're just having a look through some baby photos of me because we're putting some baby photos of us up at the wedding, and it appears I was actually the literary lifter before I even knew it. Not that I lifted back then, but I was reading some books, which was quite nice to see. So I found a couple of photos of me actually reading. I have no idea what I'm actually reading. Probably a horrible histories, because as a kid I absolutely loved those. But yeah, haven't done too much reading today. Obviously haven't been to the gym, but going to be heading to bed soon, so I'll probably try and get close to finishing Fight Club, and I'll give you a little review of that when I'm done reading it.
Check in with the performance, or you can skip it, assuming it's a close variation of the same cutscene you've had before. But hey, the game designer Sadie Green put something here, so why not watch a little of the performance, right? Charlotte turned her laptop toward Sam. On stage, in the middle of white Elizabethan England, improbably stands a handsome Asian man as Macbeth. Macbeth has just heard the news that his wife had died, and he's giving the most famous soliloquy from the play, the Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow speech. When they had been deciding what to call their company all those years ago, Marx had argued for calling it Tomorrow Games, a name Sam and Sadie instantly rejected as too soft. Marx explained that the name referenced his favorite speech in Shakespeare, and that it wasn't soft at all. "Do you have any ideas that aren't from Shakespeare?" Sadie said. To make his case, Marx jumped up on a kitchen chair and recited the Tomorrow speech for them, which he knew by heart. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. That's bleak, Sadie said. Why start a game company? Let's go kill ourselves, Sam joked. Also, Sadie said, what does any of that have to do with games? Isn't it obvious? Marx said. It was not obvious to Sam or to Sadie. What is a game? Marx said. It's tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. It's the possibility of infinite rebirth, infinite redemption. The idea that if you keep playing, you could win. No loss is permanent, because nothing is permanent, ever.
Alright then, Friday, got to the end of the week, and I was going to finish Fight Club, but I'll be honest with you, I've been distracted by tomorrow because I was listening to this on the way to the gym tonight, and I was really getting into it, so I decided to listen to it in the gym while I was squatting today, and nearly finished it in the gym because I had a 2-hour session, so I was at 80% through, and then I just finished off the last few chapters while I was having my tea, and I thought I'd quickly just do a little review of the book because it's a really interesting one. It's one that's very different to anything I've ever read before. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Stephen King and sort of horror, fantasy and sci-fi. Those are sort of maybe my top genres at the moment. But this was a very human book, but with very complex human characters. So I think I sort of talked about the first 50% of the book earlier in the video, and I sort of mentioned about the main characters. So Sam and Sadie, they're sort of friends, but we're not quite sure if they're more than friends. And then they start a company together, a gaming company, and that becomes incredibly successful. And then Sam's friend, Marx, is introduced as one of the characters, and him and Sadie get really close, so much so that they pretty much end up together. Sorry, there's going to be a bit of a spoiler alert there. I'll try not to give too many more spoilers away, but that kind of changes the dynamic within the friendship. Sam starts sort of getting jealous almost, even though he's not like romantically involved with Sadie. So it's all quite interesting, and what I realised is the characters are extremely complex and fairly problematic, and that's due to a mixture of sort of trauma and, to be honest, a bit of narcissism. They're kind of at stages, I'm not really sure I like the characters that much. I don't think they're meant to be particularly likeable, but I think as the story progresses, you do learn to actually love the characters, and there is a big event, a big plot twist within the book, where your perception of the characters do change a little bit as well. Obviously, I'm not going to kind of give that away, but you have a little bit maybe more sympathy for them, and you kind of start seeing the different human side of them, and I think you kind of then figure out their relationship a little bit more. So although I kind of feel there isn't a massive resolution at the end of this book, it kind of still leaves you with a kind of nice feeling at the end of it, and there are some good messages within it. It's quite actually politically driven, and I didn't realise that. There's kind of like identity politics within that and some quite strong themes within it. That's not normally something I look for in a book, but I didn't mind it in this book. I thought it worked quite well, and there was, it got you thinking about different things to do with like today's society in particular, with a lot of like division between a lot of like identity politics and that sort of thing. So I found that quite interesting. But yeah, I like how the characters, although I found them fairly problematic and they were a bit, sometimes unlikable, I feel like as they grew up, I liked them a little bit more, and I felt like they then kind of started to realise what was important in life, and they kind of started to figure out their own relationships. And yeah, because of that, I did find it a pretty wholesome book. There's definitely messages within there about sort of work and sort of working hard and using work as a way to sort of overcome grief and things like that. I don't necessarily agree with that, but there are sort of a lot of themes around work and grinding and that sort of thing, and sort of just working 24/7. But yeah, aside from those sort of things, the story behind it and the messaging behind the relationships and the complex relationships was really interesting. So overall, I did enjoy the book. So is it going to be in my top 10 books of all time? Probably not. I think a big part of that is the fact that it was very heavily focused on gaming, and I'm just not a massive gamer myself. So although I kind of understood the plot and the story behind it, I just couldn't kind of relate to them maybe as much as some other people would. But yeah, the human side of it and the relationships and the connections and how they were sort of formed, I could get on board with that, and that was really the buy-in for me with this book. So that wraps up vlog 1 of Barbell and Books. I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's a little bit of a different style of video. It shows a little bit of what I'm doing in the gym and a little bit of what I'm doing with my reading. In terms of the training this week, it's been very good because obviously I managed to hit a pretty heavy single on bench, reasonably heavy single on deadlifts, but with squats I was going a lot lighter today because it was a bit of a deload, so I'll ramp that up again in the coming weeks. But yeah, really enjoyed it. I've also started my new job as a qualified physiotherapist, so I'm loving that at the moment. I'm doing MSK, so that's musculoskeletal, so yeah, just really enjoying the new team and just enjoying that new challenge. It's just been very exciting. So it's been a really good week. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll hopefully see you in the next vlog. Take care. Peace.